Have you ever sensed something off about someone, like an unseen shadow lurking just beyond your sight? They smile, they speak kindly, but there's an unshakable feeling that something isn't right. What if I told you that behind the smiles and polite conversations, some people secretly carry deep resentment, or even hatred, toward you? Most of us assume that if someone dislikes us, they'll make it obvious. But reality isn't that simple. Hatred often wears a mask. It disguises itself in subtle actions, veiled words, and small betrayals that are easy to dismiss until the damage is done. Stoicism reminds us that we can't control how others feel about us, but we must be mindful of the energy we let into our lives. Some people hide their hostility, but their actions speak louder than words. If we don't recognize the signs, we risk being drained, manipulated, or betrayed by those we once trusted. In this video, I will uncover 12 undeniable signs that someone may secretly despise you. These signs aren't always obvious, they're often subtle, almost invisible, until you learn to recognize them, and once you do, you'll never be fooled again. Stay with me until the end because I will share a powerful lesson that will not only help you identify hidden hatred, but also teach you how to rise above it with wisdom and strength. In the end, your peace of mind is in your hands. Are you ready to see the truth? Let's begin. Sign 1. They smile, but their eyes don't. A real smile isn't just about the lips, it comes from the soul. When someone is truly happy to see you, their whole face lights up, especially their eyes. But if the smile is there, yet the eyes stay distant, cold, or empty, that's not warmth, it's a mask. Think of a time when you greeted someone, and they smiled back, but something felt off. Their expression was polite, but the energy didn't match. Maybe their eyes avoided yours. Or when they did meet your gaze, there was no real connection, only a hollow practice gesture. You felt it, didn't you? That subtle but unmistakable sense that you weren't truly welcome. The Stoics taught us to see reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. Hatred doesn't always come with harsh words or open hostility. Sometimes, hatred hides behind forced politeness, a fake kindness, driven only by social expectations, but the eyes never lie. The eyes reveal the true nature of a person's heart. If someone smiles, but their gaze is empty or filled with resentment, bitterness, or quiet contempt, pay attention, that is not affection. At best, it's mere tolerance. At worst, it's hidden dislike. This truth can be hard to accept, especially if it comes from a friend, a colleague, or even family, but pain is often the price of clarity. Once you recognize this sign, you will no longer be misled by empty pleasantries. You will see people as they are, not as they pretend to be, and in doing so, you reclaim your power. If you've ever sensed this unsettling disconnection, trust your instincts. A smile that doesn't reach the eyes is not a smile, it's a warning sign. Sign 2. They always find excuses to avoid you. Not all hatred is loud, sometimes, it hides in silence. When someone truly despises you, they won't always confront you, instead, they will slowly erase you from their life. One excuse at a time. Think of a friend or a colleague who once made time for you, but now always seems too busy. At first, their excuses seem reasonable: work, family, exhaustion. But over time, a pattern emerges. The invitations they once accepted, they now decline. Casual meetups turn into maybe next time. Until next time never comes. And the worst part, they never tell you outright that they don't want you around. They just make sure you never really are. The Stoics teach us to judge people by their actions, not their words. Someone who values you will make time, no matter how busy they are. Someone who resents you will make excuses, even when none are needed. Their avoidance isn't accidental, it's intentional. With every excuse, they're building a wall between you and them, brick by brick. And this isn't always out of malice. Sometimes, people simply lack the courage to be honest. Confrontation is uncomfortable, so they choose distance instead. They hope you'll take the hint and fade away, without them ever having to say it. I don't want you in my life. This truth is painful, but clarity is always better than illusion. If someone constantly avoids you, don't chase them. Don't beg for answers that will never come. Instead, accept what their actions reveal, let them go, and in doing so, free yourself from the silent rejection that weighs heavier than words. If this resonates with you, trust your instincts. Not all doors close with a slam, some just never open again. Sign 3. They never celebrate your achievements, only minimize them. True friends and allies celebrate your success, but those who secretly resent you will do the opposite. They won't openly attack your achievements, that would be too obvious. Instead, they will diminish them subtly, making you feel as if your victories are insignificant or undeserved. Imagine this: after months of effort, you finally land your dream job. You share the news with someone expecting excitement, maybe even a simple "that's amazing, you worked so hard for this," but instead you get a lukewarm, dismissive response. Well, I guess that's a start. No excitement, no support, just an invisible force pulling you down when you should be rising. The Stoics remind us that external validation is fleeting. We shouldn't rely on others to determine our worth. However, it is still revealing when someone close to us never acknowledges our progress. Their refusal to celebrate with you is not just indifference, it is a quiet rejection of your success. They do not want to see you rise because in their mind, your growth highlights their own shortcomings. Pay attention to these patterns. Do they constantly downplay your achievements? Do they change the subject when you share good news? Do they find subtle ways to remind you that your success is not that impressive? These are not the actions of a supporter, but of someone who harbors resentment. Recognizing this truth can be painful, but it is also freeing. Do not waste your energy seeking applause from those who would rather see you fail. Instead, embrace the mindset of a Stoic. Find fulfillment in your own growth, not in the approval of those who secretly wish to see you stumble. Sign 4. They deliberately ignore you. Few things are more painful than being treated as if you don't exist. When someone deliberately ignores you, it's not an accident. It's a choice, a statement, a quiet but brutal way of saying you don't matter. This isn't just occasional distraction or forgetfulness, it's something deeper, something intentional. Imagine speaking in a group, but someone consistently acts like they didn't hear you. You send a message, and they take days, if ever, to respond, even though you know they've seen it. You walk into a room, and they greet everyone except you. This is not coincidence, it's calculated dismissal. The Stoics teach that we cannot control how others treat us, only how we respond. But make no mistake, being ignored isn't just indifference, it's a silent act of hostility. Unlike an argument, where emotions are at least acknowledged, deliberate ignorance is a way of erasing you without confrontation. It is a silent form of rejection, a way of saying you are beneath my attention. This behavior is especially cruel because it makes you question yourself. Did I do something wrong? Am I just imagining it? The truth is, when someone harbors deep resentment, they often choose this method over direct conflict. It lets them hurt you without ever taking responsibility. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. If someone repeatedly ignores your presence, your words, your efforts, take it for what it truly is, and act accordingly. Don't chase acknowledgement where it's not given. A person who refuses to see your worth is not worth your effort. True power isn't just about walking away from rejection, it's about walking towards self-respect. Sign 5. They compliment you sarcastically. Sarcasm is a dagger wrapped in silk, a seemingly harmless remark that cuts deeper than an open insult. When someone gives you a sarcastic compliment, they're not lifting you up, they're tearing you down while pretending to be polite. It's one of the most insidious forms of hidden hatred because it allows them to mock you without confrontation. Picture this: you finally achieve something meaningful, but instead of real praise, you hear, "Wow, look at you, a real genius." The words seem positive, but the tone is laced with condescension. Or maybe you put effort into your appearance, and someone smirks, "Oh, dressing up today? Who are you trying to impress?" These comments don't celebrate you, they make you second-guess yourself. The Stoics teach us to see things as they are, not as they appear. A true compliment uplifts, while a sarcastic one is just a disguised attempt to tear you down. The person using this tactic may lack the courage to insult you directly, so they lace their words with just enough mockery to make you feel uncertain. They want you to question yourself, to doubt whether your success is real, whether your confidence is deserved. But here's the truth: someone who truly supports you won't hide contempt behind sarcasm. When you recognize this behavior, don't waste energy analyzing it or seeking their approval. Their words reflect their own insecurities, not your worth. Stay grounded, ignore the disguised hostility, and remember your value is not determined by those who seek to undermine it. Sign 6. Constant criticism without clear foundations. Not all criticism is meant to help you grow. When someone harbors deep resentment, their words aren't meant to guide you, they're meant to wound you. At first, their critiques might seem reasonable, even disguised as helpful advice, but over time, a pattern emerges. The criticism is constant, vague, and often baseless. No matter what you do, it's never enough. They nitpick insignificant details, question your decisions, and find flaws where none exist. Their goal isn't to help you improve, it's to wear you down. The Stoics teach us that true wisdom comes from distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. A mentor or friend will offer constructive feedback with the intent to help you refine your path. But when someone constantly criticizes without logic or fairness, their goal is not to build you up, but to break you down. They want you to question yourself, to doubt your abilities, to feel small. And the worst part, they never offer solutions, only criticism. This behavior isn't just frustrating, it's a form of psychological control. The more you absorb their words, the more you start to wonder, am I really not good enough? But remember, baseless criticism reveals more about the critic than the one being judged. If you constantly feel burdened by pointless critiques, see them for what they are, not guidance, but hidden hostility. Do not look for approval from those who aim to tear you down. Stand firm in your self-worth and never let their words define you. Sign 7. Constantly comparing you to others. Comparison can be a tool for inspiration, but in the hands of someone who resents you, it becomes a weapon. When a person constantly measures you against others, not to uplift but to diminish, they are not offering guidance, they are delivering a message. You are not enough. A true mentor or friend will recognize your strengths and inspire your growth, but someone who secretly resents you will refuse to see your uniqueness. Instead, they subtly or openly compare you to others, reminding you that someone else is smarter, more successful, more attractive, more capable. Why can't you be more like them? See how easily they do it. These statements are never meant to help you improve, they're designed to make you doubt your worth. The Stoics teach us that external comparisons are meaningless. We are not here to compete with others, but to master ourselves. Yet when someone constantly holds you to an impossible standard, their intent is clear. They want you to feel small, to believe that no matter what you achieve, it will never be enough. And the worst part? They disguise it as advice, as if they only want what's best for you, but recognize this for what it truly is, an attempt to control your perception of yourself. Do not let their comparisons define you. You are on your own path, and the only measure of success that matters is your growth, not how you rank against others. When someone tries to make you feel inferior through constant comparisons, see it as a reflection of their own insecurities, not your worth. Sign 8. They mock your weaknesses. Everyone has flaws, everyone has insecurities, but a person who truly respects you will never use them as a weapon against you. When someone constantly mocks your weaknesses, they aren't teasing you playfully, they are revealing their contempt. A true friend, a caring family member, or even a decent acquaintance understands that vulnerability is not something to exploit. They offer support when you stumble, encouragement when you doubt yourself. But when someone harbors hatred toward you, they do the opposite. They wait for moments of weakness, not to lift you up, but to push you down. They laugh at your fears, highlight your failures, and remind you of your shortcomings, not with kindness, but with thinly veiled scorn. The Stoics remind us that external ridicule holds no real power unless we give it weight. Yet repeated humiliation, especially from someone close, can leave lasting scars. This kind of behavior is not just cruelty. It is a subtle form of control. By making you feel small, they elevate themselves. By turning your weaknesses into a joke, they strip you of dignity. If you find yourself in the presence of someone who takes pleasure in mocking your flaws, recognize the truth: this is not tough love, nor is it harmless teasing. It is a form of rejection disguised as humor. And you have two choices: internalize their words and let them shape your self-worth, or rise above, knowing that no one who takes joy in your pain deserves a place in your life. Do not let their laughter define you. Walk away, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know your own worth. Sign 9. They don't support you in your difficult moments. True character is revealed in times of hardship. When life tests you, the people who care about you will stand by your side. But when someone secretly despises you, their reaction to your struggles will expose their true feelings, not with words, but with absence. When you're going through a crisis, a friend, a family member, or even a decent human being will offer support even in small ways. A kind word, a listening ear, or simply being present. But when someone harbors hatred toward you, they will do the opposite. They will be indifferent to your pain, distant when you need them most. Worse, some may even take satisfaction in your struggles, as if your hardships validate their disdain. The Stoics teach us to accept that not everyone will act as we wish, but that does not mean we should be blind to reality. If someone who is supposed to be close to you repeatedly turns their back on you in difficult times, it is not a coincidence. It is a choice, a deliberate act of neglect that says your pain does not matter. To me, this kind of betrayal is one of the most painful because it doesn't just hurt in the moment, it lingers. It makes you question your worth, damages your trust in others, and leaves you feeling alone when you need support the most. But remember this: you are not unworthy of care. Their indifference is a reflection of them, not you. Do not beg for support from those who take pleasure in your struggles. Instead, recognize who is truly there for you and walk away from those who aren't. In the end, you are stronger than their absence. Sign 10. They seek you out just to make you feel bad. Hatred is not always expressed through avoidance. Sometimes it shows itself in relentless attacks. A person who despises you won't just ignore you. They will actively seek you out, not to connect, but to tear you down. This behavior is not accidental. It is deliberate, calculated. They wait for the right moment to strike, to find something that unsettles you, to use your vulnerabilities as ammunition. perhaps they disguise their attacks as jokes laced with just enough venom to sting. Or maybe they openly criticize you, question your worth, and ensure that every encounter leaves you feeling drained, discouraged, or humiliated. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies in emotional resilience, in refusing to let external forces dictate our inner peace, but that does not mean we should tolerate toxic behavior. When someone consistently approaches you only to make you feel small, it is not a misunderstanding, it is a pattern, and patterns reveal truth. This is not the behavior of a friend, nor even a neutral acquaintance. It is someone who takes satisfaction in your discomfort, who sees your pain as their victory. They do not seek conversation, only confrontation. They do not engage with you to support, only to wound. If you recognize this in someone around you, do not ignore it. You are not obligated to endure cruelty disguised as interaction. Their need to see you suffer is their own weakness, not yours. The strongest response? Refuse to engage, remove yourself from their game, and most importantly, never let their words define you. Sign 11. They speak badly about you behind your back. Hatred does not always confront you directly, sometimes it works in the shadows. When someone despises you, they may not attack you face to face, but they will ensure that others see you in a negative light. Speaking badly about someone behind their back is a coward's way of expressing contempt. It denies you the chance to defend yourself, to correct falsehoods, or even to understand why you are being targeted. Instead, they spread rumors, twist facts, or highlight your flaws while conveniently leaving out your strengths. Their goal is not just to reject you, but to turn others against you, damaging your reputation and isolating you without you even knowing. The Stoics teach us that our reputation is not entirely within our control, and we should not let the opinions of others dictate our peace of mind. However, that does not mean we should ignore the harm caused by deceitful words. When someone speaks badly about you, they are not just rejecting you, they are manipulating the way the world perceives you. And that kind of betrayal can be far more painful than a direct confrontation. If you discover that someone is spreading negativity about you, do not waste energy chasing rumors or proving yourself to those who are easily swayed. Instead, remain steadfast in your character. Truth withstands time, and those who truly know you will see beyond the lies. Do not let the whispers of those who hate you define your story. In the end, integrity will always speak louder than gossip. Sign 12. They rejoice in your failures. The clearest and most sinister sign of true hatred is when someone takes pleasure in your struggles. Instead of offering support during difficult times, they find satisfaction in watching you fail. Your setbacks bring them joy, as if your misfortune somehow elevates their own sense of superiority. This is not mere indifference, it is something far darker. A person who secretly despises you doesn't just ignore your suffering, they celebrate it. They may not openly gloat, but you can sense their hidden delight when things go wrong for you. Maybe it's a smirk when you share bad news, or a passive-aggressive remark disguised as sympathy. Whatever form it takes, their message is clear: they do not want to see you succeed. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot control how others feel about us, we can control how much power we give their opinions. Someone who rejoices in your failures is revealing their own weakness, their own insecurity. They see your success as a threat and your struggles as validation of their resentment. But their joy in your suffering does not define you, your resilience does. If you recognize this behavior in someone around you, do not waste energy seeking their approval or proving them wrong. Instead, focus on your own path. Let their negativity be noise, not a narrative. The best response to those who wish for your downfall is to rise not for them, but for yourself. As we close this chapter, remember this: you deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift you, not those who secretly root for your downfall. life is too short to waste energy on those who diminish your light. If any of these 12 signs resonated with you, take it as a wake-up call. It's time to step away from negativity, protect your peace, and invest in relationships that truly nourish your well-being. Hatred, whether silent or loud, should never have power over your happiness. You are in control of your emotional space. Choose wisely, surround yourself with those who celebrate your victories, support you in struggles, and respect you for who you are. Your peace is priceless, and it is yours to protect. If this video gave you clarity, don't just stop here, take action, share your thoughts in the comments, let us know which signs stood out to you the most. If you found value in this, pass it along to someone who might need to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss future insights on protecting yourself from toxic influences and building stronger, healthier connections. Above all, never forget you are worthy of respect, love, and genuine connection. Keep standing tall, keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue uncovering the truth that empowers you to live your best life. Stay strong, stay true, and take care.